365 books. The team of voices behind your daily clarity.
Welcome to 365 Books, where timeless wisdom meets modern life. Each episode, we explore ideas that sharpen your mind, open your heart, and help you live with greater clarity. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more daily insights. All right, today we are tackling a massive topic, something that's on everyone's mind. What does it mean to achieve mastery in the age of AI?
I mean, it's the question, right? Will AI take my job? It's that little bit of anxiety you feel in the back of your mind when you see these tools getting smarter and smarter. You can't help but wonder, are the things I'm good at, are they about to become obsolete? Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it, because this is the big idea we're going to unpack.
We have to stop trying to compete with AI at its own game.
I mean, think about it. AI competence, it's all about speed, volume, and just following the rules. It's a machine. But human mastery, that's a whole different ballpark. We're talking nuance, connection, vision.
The goal isn't to be a faster, better machine. The goal is to be more human.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at what's called the new relevance crisis. Then we'll walk through how to find your defensive moat, accelerate your learning, and master the human side of things. We'll even talk about becoming an AI Centaur. Sounds cool, right? And we'll wrap it all up with a few first tips you can literally take on Monday morning.
Okay, Section 1. Let's start with the hard truth. We're facing a new kind of relevance crisis.
You know, all those technical skills that people built entire careers on, things like coding, writing standard reports, creating basic designs, well, AI is turning them into commodities. What used to be a highly valued craft is, let's be honest, becoming as simple as typing a command. And that's where we have to reframe how we think about our own roles. It's not about being the best individual player anymore, you know, the first chair violinist. It's about becoming the conductor of the entire orchestra. You're the one guiding all these incredible AI tools, these instruments, to create something new, something beautiful that none of them could do on their own.
Our value isn't in the doing anymore. It's in the directing. So the question becomes, how do you become that irreplaceable conductor? Well, it starts by building what we'll call a defensive moat.
This is all about carving out your unique value in a world that's getting more and more, well, algorithmically the same. Just think for a second about how these AIs actually work. They're trained on basically the entire internet, right? The sum of all human knowledge. So what they're really, really good at is spotting the most common patterns, finding the most likely answer. In other words, the algorithm absolutely loves the average. And if your skills are average, you're playing right on its home turf.
Well, that is a game we are not going to win.
That, right there, leads us to the perfect counter strategy. Your weirdness is your defense. Seriously. It's that unique, specific, maybe even kind of strange mix of skills and interests you have. Those are the things an algorithm that's built on average just can't copy. You've got to double down on what makes you, you. Here's a fantastic example. Don't just be a writer. An AI can be a writer. Instead, be a writer who specializes in, I don't know, Victorian horror stories set in modern corporate offices. See, an AI can mimic the general skill, but that level of specificity, that requires a truly unique perspective, a deep niche knowledge. That's a human touch, that weirdness, that specificity. That's your defensive mode.
Okay, so let's say you found your weird little niche. Awesome. Now what? Well, now you've got to get really good at it, and you've got to do it fast. The old ways of learning, they're just not going to cut it anymore. The world's moving too quickly.
And let's just put this out there right now. The 10,000-hour rule is dead, gone. The idea that you're going to spend a decade slowly mastering the basics, I mean, that's a luxury nobody has anymore. Technology is just moving way too fast. By the time you finally hit your 10,000 hours, the skill you are learning might not even be relevant. So we need a new model, right?
Let's call it the AI Accelerated Apprenticeship.
Here's how it works. Step 1. You, the human, focus on learning the core principles, the deep why behind your craft. Then, for everything else, you use AI. Let it handle the syntax, the how, like cleaning up your code or fixing your grammar. And then you can use it as a tireless coach to critique your work, anytime, day or night. This completely collapses the learning timeline. But, and this is a huge but, you absolutely must still learn the why. You can't skip the fundamentals. Because if you don't really get the principles of good writing, how are you going to know when the AI spits out something that's technically correct but totally soulless? If you don't get the principles of coding, you won't be able to spot a critical security flaw in the code it just wrote for you. Your deep knowledge of the why is what makes you the conductor. Otherwise, you're just another instrument.
So we've covered our niche and how to learn fast. Now let's talk about the skills that are basically unhackable. As all that technical stuff gets easier and easier to automate, our focus has to shift to the human layer, to things like social and emotional intelligence. And a great way to think about this is with a kind of hybrid mentorship model. You can absolutely use AI as a synthetic mentor. Ask it, hey, critique this product design from the perspective of Steve Jobs, and it'll give you some amazing insights. But you still need a human mentor for the things AI just can't give you, like courage when you're scared to take a risk, or the intuition to navigate a really tricky office political situation. That's where people are irreplaceable.
And honestly, this might be the single most important idea in this whole explainer.
Empathy is the new coding as the cost and difficulty of making things drops to pretty much zero.
The skills that become incredibly valuable are the ones machines are just terrible at. You know, reading a room, negotiating a tough deal, inspiring your team, truly getting what a client needs. These aren't soft skills anymore. They're the new hard skills.
So, you've found your niche, you've supercharged your learning, and you're doubling down on the human layer. Now it's time to put it all together.
This is where we go from being an executor to being a director. And the best way to think about this is what's called the Centaur strategy. You know, like the mythical creature, half human, half horse. It's the perfect metaphor for the synthesis of human and machine. You're not just a person doing tasks anymore. You are now a creative director with an unbelievably powerful partner. So how does this actually work in the real world? Well, the AI half, the horse part, is for massive generation. You tell it, hey, give me 100 different logo ideas for a new sustainable coffee brand. And boom, in minutes, you have this incredible volume of options to work with. That's what it's good at, pure speed and scale.
But then, and this is the critical part, the human half steps in. Your taste, your vision, your gut intuition, that's what lets you look at those 100 options and say, that one, that's the one. The AI can generate endlessly, but only a human has the intuition and the wisdom to pick the single right one.
Okay, I know that was a lot of high-level strategic stuff, so let's bring it all the way back down to earth. What can you actually do?
Here's your action plan for Monday morning.
Here are your first steps. Number 1, do an audit. Just make a list of your tasks and split them into 2 columns. Procedural, rule-based stuff, and insight-based stuff that requires your judgment. Number 2, try the cyborg workflow. Spend 1 hour just learning the fundamentals of something, and then immediately spend the next hour using AI to practice and test that new knowledge. And third, and this one's huge, schedule a disconnect. Block out 2 hours every single day with no AI, no internet. You have to give your brain the quiet space it needs for deep work. That's where mastery is built.
So let's wrap up with this idea. The barrier to entry for just creating stuff has never, ever been lower. Anybody can do it now. But you know what? The barrier to true mastery is as high as it's ever been. And that doesn't devalue mastery, it makes it way more rare and way more valuable. This isn't something to be afraid of, it's a call to adventure. Look, the world is noisy, and AI is about to make it a whole lot noisier. It's going to be filled with endless average content. Your job, your whole path to mastery, is to cut through all of that. Don't just be more noise, be the signal. For core messages, reflections, and daily practices, visit 365books.app and keep learning with us.
365 books. The team of voices behind your daily clarity.